for the Second Amendment and for the NRA specifically. I mean, Kate, they have produced documentaries.
Yeah, I don't think
on
anybody
how powerful
denies that.
The NRA is in Washington,
they have a lot of power, but that's not what Donald Trump said yesterday. Let's play the sound again just so we can be really clear on what he said.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that will be a horrible day.
The Second Amendment people, maybe there is something they can do. What is he suggesting?
Well, if you complete the video, he also, right after he says that would be a horrible day, he says if Hillary Clinton gets to pick the Supreme Court justices, mainly because the NRA is a bipartisan organization, and that is also left out of the discussion in the media, considering how there are even Democrats who won't touch gun legislation in an election year because the NRA has been able to take out Democrats as well, and even been able to block appointments to high-ranking positions, like with the ATF for that matter. So they do have a lot of political power, even beyond just turning out voters.
Right, but the thing that's confusing people, Katrina, I think, is that he's framing this. When he starts the comment, he's saying if she's in power, if she's president of the United States, she then gets to pick nominees to the Supreme Court. So he's assuming she's in power and then says there's nothing you can do about it at that point. Well, but maybe the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. Those are his exact words.
Absolutely.
That's
and
the
that's
part
exactly
where people think he's inciting
talking about
violence.
Democrats. Absolutely not, because the NRA, see, this is the thing, no one is even talking about the power of the NRA on the Democrats. They have been able to stop senators from appointing people that are hostile towards the Second Amendment, and that's what he's talking about. And that would be the only way to stop something like that from happening, is if the NRA were able to get out there and stop these senators from approving anyone that was hostile to the Second Amendment, because there's a lot of political power there, even for Democrats.
So just to be clear, if others on the campaign are telling Katie Tur that this was a joke about violence, you're not saying that. You're not saying it was a joke at all. It wasn't about
I'm not saying that
violence
at all. In fact, I haven't seen anyone from the campaign say that it was a joke. The initial statement said nothing about a joke, so I'm not even sure where Katie's getting that information.
Let me play some sound, if I can, from retired General Michael Hayden. He's former director, as you know, both the NSA and the CIA. And this is what he said about Mr. Trump's comment.
If someone else had said that outside the hall, he'd be in the back of a police wagon now with the Secret Service questioning him. I used to tell my seniors at CIA, you get to a certain point in this business, you're not just responsible for what you say. You are responsible for what people hear. And that might be a good lesson here.
So, Katrina, let's assume that you're absolutely correct, that he did not mean to incite any violence. That's not what he was saying. But people heard that.
Well, people may have heard that, and it's been reinforced, by the media. And the reason Hillary Clinton is not commenting on it is because she herself did talk about the actual assassination of Obama in 2008. That MSNBC video and the MSNBC video has been released. And that's why she's not talking about it, because even she knows that the inference was not to incite violence against her.
This is about Donald Trump. This isn't about Hillary Clinton. You just said people may have heard that. If people heard that, doesn't he have responsibility
for his words? Because it's being reinforced by the media. That was the second part of what I said. If you listen to Donald Trump's rallies, Kate,
would you like me to play the sound again?
Every rally.
He
talks about this at every rally. If Hillary Clinton is able to appoint Supreme Court candidates against the Second Amendment, there has to be something to stop her.
My question is, does he have any accountability for what people hear, for what they interpret as a remark inciting people to violence?
If he had control over the liberal news networks, absolutely. But he does not. And that's another reason why we're talking about this today, because they have picked out a piece of what he was talking about in the greater context of a topic he's talked about in every single rally, and that is the power of the NRA, and that is the ability for Hillary Clinton, if elected, would support candidates at the Supreme Court that would actually strip the rights piece by piece from law-abiding citizens and their ability to defend themselves.
If he's elected president, every word is going to matter, right? Every word matters when you're president. He brags often about being able to deal with China, being able to renegotiate trade deals with China. If his words are misinterpreted, he will not get a do-over when he's president of the United States. I think that's what a lot of people are reacting to here. If he misspoke, you don't get a do-over when you're president.
You don't get a do-over really on anything at that level. I mean, just like the imaginary red line over in the Middle East, and just like, you know, paying hostage money over to Iran. I mean, there's a lot of things we could talk about that are really, really bad for the country. But when you're talking at a rally about the Second Amendment and Hillary Clinton and Supreme Court justices, and to infer that something horrible can happen, I think we should talk about the horrible things that have already happened while Hillary Clinton was at the State Department, just like the emails that were just uncovered, where she was actually trading favors as Secretary of State for her donors at the Clinton Foundation. These are things that have a real impact on national security as well as how the government functions. Hillary Clinton is for sale, and that means our government would be too.
So you have no, to go back to my question, you have no concern about his ability as president, if he were president, to make a, you know, make an argument with foreign leaders, in negotiations, and not be misconstrued or misunderstood?
Absolutely not. I have no concerns with that whatsoever. He's not going to be dealing with foreign leaders at a political rally. It will definitely be a more serious discussion and not an off-the-cuff discussion.
So there's a difference between speech at a political rally and speech with foreign leaders when you're president.
Well, yeah, he wasn't talking about policy. He wasn't talking about implementation of policy. He was talking about what would happen if Hillary Clinton were to be elected, and he was absolutely right.
I'm speechless because I'm trying to follow your logic here, Katrina, and I'm having a hard time.
I can tell.
Is there there's a difference in your head between speaking to a rally and things you say in front of a public group like that and what he's going to do when he's actually in the office?
You know, I really don't see Barack Obama sitting and telling us exactly what happens in his private discussions with foreign leaders. I mean, the administration's already admitted to lying to the American public about the Iran deal. We already know Hillary Clinton lied to the public about what happened in Benghazi and lied to the faces of the families who died in Benghazi. There were very different things being said behind the scenes that were being said out in public. Wouldn't you agree?
Let me ask you about one other thing before I let you go. Hillary Clinton is hiring, we reported yesterday, in states like Arizona and Georgia. They're hiring crews on the ground. There are people on the ground. Those are states that have been traditionally, well, haven't been Democrat since the 90s, haven't been won by a Democratic presidential candidate since Bill Clinton. Investing in those states, are you losing this election?
No, not at all. Donald Trump is investing in states that haven't been won by a Republican for a very long time. This is going to be a very close election. Mr. Trump does have the right policies for many people. That's why you've seen tens of thousands of Democrats supporting him in